Nah, I'm good.
That's Joe. I'm joking. Oh, we're live. What's up, guys? How you doing? I do want to say, obviously, happy belated. I did text you guys happy Thanksgiving. Wait, Joanne, did I ever text you happy Thanksgiving?
You did?
No, Messenger.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Messenger. Okay.
Yeah, we spoke.
So I do want to just say, while we're on, happy Thanksgiving. Not only to you guys, but everybody at home. I hope everybody enjoyed their holiday. Those of you that celebrate out in the States, if you're out of the country, then we don't care. No, I'm teasing. No, but happy belated Thanksgiving to you guys. I hope you enjoyed your turkey and everything yesterday, with whatever family, whatever. But this is a movie that I've seen just recently. Joanna, know you saw it opening night. Wait,
Mhm.
no. Did you see? No,
No.
you didn't see a screen. Tia did.
No, we did. Me and Joel did.
You did?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, that's right. Because you were going to go with me. That's right. I totally forgot. So you're going to go with me and endure another showing of it. Although you liked the film, I know you did. Just to see the end credit scene because you didn't get the end credit scene with the
Right.
screeners. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
And Kitty, when did you see this movie?
I saw it the Sunday of the week it came out.
Okay, so the 7th,
Mhm.
right?
Yeah.
Something like that. Yeah. Okay. All right. So I'm glad we're able to do our spoiler review. I'm sorry that it took a little while to get on, but let's get to it. All right. I do have some issues with it that I'll go over. On the whole, if I had to give a score, maybe a 6.5 out of 10. I don't think, look, giving it a second thought, I don't see it. I'm not going to put it at the bottom. I still think that the bottom is still reserved for Thor Dark World. Because I think the sequel to Thor, because I enjoyed the first one so much, Thor Dark World for me was just like a step back. And this is the first film. Who knows what the sequel is going to be to this? Who knows what's in store for these characters in the future of the MCU. So I'll give them the benefit of the doubt. I'm not going to put it at the very bottom. I also do not believe that it deserves the Rotten Tomato scores that it did. Even the audience score is pretty strong though. It's I think at 80%.
I think it was 80%.
Right? Yeah.
It was in the 90s for a while. What happened to it?
Yeah. Well, I mean, more people saw it. I mean, Thor Dark World is at 75%. So, I don't want to give too much stock in the audience score as well. But no, I don't think it deserved a rotten score that it was given by the critics. I will say that. As I said, I'll go over some of the things I didn't like, but for the most part, I think a 6.5 is not bad. And I do not put it at the bottom. But I do want to start with my guests. Kitty, I'll start with you.
Okay.
You and I had a chance to chat before we went on live.
Mhm.
What did you think of the film, and what are some of your notes and whatever about the film?
I enjoyed the movie. I do see that the movie has some issues, but I enjoyed the movie. After seeing it, I would rank it in one of my higher of the Marvel movies. I think that, everybody's screaming that they needed something new out of Marvel. Marvel gives you something new, and everyone's like, oh, yeah, not like that. We don't want that. So it's like, what do you want? So it's just like, I think that it was done very well. It was visually beautiful. I love the characters, but then I didn't at the same time. There's a lot going on because there were so many characters, but when they concentrated on one character at a time, that's when I kind of enjoyed the movie. I think that a lot of the dark elements of the movie, when they were showing in the CGI parts of it, got really lost. That's what I didn't really enjoy about the movie. It was too CGI'd at times, and it looked very fake.
What did you think of? And the reason why I bring this up because you brought up CGI. What did you think of the Deviants itself?
I didn't really enjoy the
Yeah.
Deviants.
Okay.
They were quite frightening at times too for a movie like that. When you're bringing that fantastical element to it,
Mm-hmm.
you're thinking you're going to get something, and you see something that frightening. I didn't know what I was getting at moments. But again, it is what it is. Some of the character, when I understand the purpose of they were trying to find, not be alone and the characters together. I some of those felt forced at times, but I did like, the Angelina Jolie and the Train from Busan character. I did like their characters together. Her character at times seemed a little stiff So I did see problems with the movie, don't get me wrong, but at the same time, I did like the movie as a whole. The flashbacks kind of gave me anxiety.
Yeah.
You know, it was just like I'm watching a movie and then bam, flashback, and I'm like, what's going on?
Yeah.
So it was just like I lost that. But with all that being said, as I'm watching it together and as I thought about it, and then the end credit scenes, and just as what I know about the characters, it was just, I thought I really enjoyed the movie because it was something different. It was something that I enjoyed afterwards. I was just like, wow, it was a good movie. Rating it, I would probably give it like an 8.5.
That's tough. It's good though. I mean, like I said, I know you liked it, and 8.5 seems just high. But at the same time, I get it. Look, you brought up a really good example of saying, we wanted something different, and Marvel finally gives it to us. But I also said right before we went on live that Shang-Chi was actually that different movie that I thought we got, and I loved.
Yeah.
But also too, Marvel has a formula that I feel, and they stuck to it pretty well. And granted, as I said, when you and I did our top Marvel films of all time, MCU films, and we rank that, obviously we have to have bottom films, movies like Thor: Dark World, Iron Man 3, Iron Man 2, and etc. But the issue is they have a certain formula, and I'm not saying that every movie have to stick to it. And I don't want every Marvel movie to be the same thing, because at one point it gets stale. I love the introduction of new characters, I do, but I just feel this film, and I told you on this, and I even told you this in the messenger. It was just too ambitious because it was dealing with too many characters at the same time. And I even told you on, she originally wanted 12 on screen at the same time, and Marvel's like, no, you're only getting 10. She was trying to vie for 12, and most of the reviews that I listened to, and I watched even before or after I watched the movie, they all said the same thing, that it was just too much at the same time, and it probably would have been better suited if there would have been either a Disney Plus series just to give it more character development or more character introduction. I know Joanna has a couple of points as well as far as character development, because me and him spoke about this. So I know he's going to get into it. But yeah, no, but I understand what you say. Look, it's completely up to you. It's your opinion. I know you like the film. But Shang-Chi was different, and I absolutely loved it. I mean, hell, even Guardians of the Galaxy for me was different. And I bring this movie up for a specific point because, my mainstream Marvel heroes were always Spider-Man. I knew about Iron Man, even that film with Tony, the original film with Robert Downey Jr. when that came out blew my mind as well, because I knew him from the comics, but to see him on live screen and to be portrayed by Robert Downey Jr. so well, and to kick off the MCU, I mean, that was the perfect starting point. But like I said, Marvel has its, for me, who's sort of a casual fan, but not, because I do know some about comics. Guardians of the Galaxy was a new IP for me. It was something new. And it was told so well, and it was dealing with several characters at the same time. And I even told Juwan too, I mean, that movie made me cry about a tree dying at the end, sacrificing himself to save his family. And I feel like you felt they were family. This was a team that was constructed, a team of misfits that were constructed during the movie. They knew nothing about each other, but we cared about every character, and we actually believed that they were family by the end. You had 10 characters here. You had a love story between Cersei and Icarus, who I don't buy. I did not buy the whole film. They look like they hated each other. And I get it. He abandoned her, and she had reasons for feeling the way she did. I actually think she had more on-screen chemistry with Jon Snow's character, Dane Whitman. I actually wanted them together. But anyway, I'll get into how I felt, whatever. I just wanted to throw that in. Joanne, what did you think of this film?
It's hard to say anything else. Kitty really just nailed everything. I would agree. I'd say about an 8.5.
That's what she said.
Congrats, if so. I would say that I told you this. I do think people are having a tough time differentiating too many characters with not enough screen time, because you can't have it both ways. You can't say There were too many characters, and there wasn't enough screen time. Because in order to get more screen time means you have to get more time with all those characters you're saying there's too many of. So I don't think it was an issue of both. I think wherever you lie, it's somewhere right or left. But no, I don't think Shang-Chi was different. I think Shang-Chi was just a better version of the Black Panther. The choreography was better, the visuals were just better, but ultimately it was somewhat the same story. It was just somewhat just rebelling against family, which most of these stories were. Guardians was somewhat that. So it was still that formulaic element of it. This movie, there is nothing I can compare to where Chloe Zhao went with this movie. She just went extremely different than anything we've seen in the Marvel universe. It just didn't feel like a Marvel movie. Now, where I will say she should have went differently is the first half of the movie should have just been the past. And then you're showing
instead of jumping back and forth.
Right. Them landing all the way up to when Druig is just like, enough of this. And then they're just like, you know what? We should go on.
Well, the other thing too, and I just want to bounce before, because I don't have this written in my notes, but I do want to bounce off that really quick. The other thing too, because you said about the past, the other thing they should have included maybe is Icarus abandoning Cersei. Show that scene where he gets, where he leaves her, and the hurt that she feels for him leaving, or her waiting for him and never coming back. Because we get some of that. We get a sex scene, with him laying on top of her, and whatever. But there's really not much to show you what they meant to each other. Because they dated for millennia.
Mm-hmm.
So maybe if they would have shown him leaving her and built it up a little bit more, you would have cared more about the characters together.
I don't know, because I think that's an uphill battle, because you're trying to get your audience stuck on Dane Whitman and Cersei, because that will clearly be a thing going.
But that's
forward.
But that's when we get into the present, though, because you said you wanted to show more of the past.
I think if you heavily invest Icarus with Cersei, you then have your fan base, because ultimately, till you get to the end of the movie, you don't know what's going to happen to Icarus.
Mm-hmm.
So if you kind of just focus too much on that in the first half, then you're kind of just like, well, why would I then want Cersei with Dane Whitman? You don't have enough time to really blossom that. Maybe
I said it wrong.
The Eternals story.
Maybe instead of the sex scene, they show the scene where he leaves her.
See, I think they kind of make it very obvious what he did when he left. I think that was probably when the Celestials probably just decommissioned him. He was probably just out of order. Or maybe he was with Ajax for some of that time. But I kind of just feel like it was, I told you this before. I think the biggest issue that I have with some people's views on this movie is I think it's very obvious to Chloe a lot of these characters just aren't as important as we want to make them out to be. It's very clear the ones that you see at the very end of the movie are the Eternals that were important to her. Because we'll see them pop up in different projects going forward, and she'll really get to explore them. But really, to me, I walked into this movie and I just said, I need accuracy. I need to feel like these are the Eternals that I read the comics of. And she did a phenomenal job ending the movie in that manner. Seeing that shot of Icarus on that beach, doing the eye lasers into the sky, that's an actual comic cover. I love that. That was beautiful. The idea that the Celestial, I can't even remember his name. I'm completely mind-boggled right now. But the fact that he told them at the end, look.
Is it Arishem? What something like that?
Arishem. Thank you.
Arishem.
Yep. The fact that he tells them, look, I'm going to go see if these humans are worthy. If they are, cool. We'll leave things as is. If they're not, this whole fucking planet is gone. I appreciated that because in the comics, that was their real reason for staying on Earth. Not for the deviants, not for whatever the hell. It was legit because he said, look, I spent all this time with mutant genes, deviant genes, you guys. Let's see what Earth can build from that. If it's good, I'll be back in a few million years. and it can stay. So the fact that she retconned it at the end, I truly appreciate it. But this is easily Marvel's most ambitious, because I can probably tell you no director till Chloe probably had this much freedom to just craft whatever she wanted to.
Oh, 100%.
Putting any kind of a sex scene in a Marvel movie lets you know that Kevin was just like, she won an Oscar. So
And I even said that too, and I even said that to you. The fact that people complained about the sex scene, the fact that people complained about Fastos, was stupid. That's anything that I had any issues with this film had nothing to do with any sex scene, had nothing to do with any gay characters. I'm able to go past that. You know, it's the simple fact that there were other issues. There were other, I think the story, but like you said though too, and you actually kind of, what I feel about the film is I don't like the first act. And you even said, I kind of wish the beginning of the film was different. And I kind of agree with you. If the first act was different and it wasn't so jumpy, and I've heard some other reviewers even say, and maybe this is true, maybe it isn't even Chloe's fault as a director. Maybe it was just as simple as editing. You know, I think maybe it was just an editing problem, because things, even when we were on the same timeline, there was one scene where we had Icarus and Cersei talking to each other and they were inside. I think that's when everybody was eating. And then all of a sudden they jump and they're outside talking. And it was just like I said, I think it was just edited poorly. But I agree with you though, to the point where there were some things that I did like especially in the final act as well. I told you I loved the fight scene between Makari and Icarus.
mm-hmm.
I love that. But then there were other things that I didn't understand. I understand why Sprite rebelled against the group. I understand Sprite was in love with Icarus. But it's like, all right, you stab Cersei in the back. You basically, betray the other Eternals for Icarus. Icarus flies into the sun. Cersei saves the day. And then all of a sudden they're like, oh, Sprite, do you want to be a human being? I'll be like, fuck you, bitch. You fucking betrayed us. Kingo did the same thing. Kingo's like, you know what? I love humanity. I'm an actor. He loves obviously mankind, but he favors Icarus. He understands where he's coming from. He's like, I'm just going to back out. He leaves them behind, and then he shows up at the end and becomes a guardian for Sprite. So there were a couple of things that I didn't understand. I understood, but at the same time, I didn't understand why everybody was just so loose and we're like, oh, Kingo, yeah, sure, come right back. We're good. You left us, because he did. And then you even said about the characters, what we love, and how at the end of the film, we know the main Eternals. You have Cersei. Who else? Athena is left, right?
Cersei, Athena, Kingo, Fastos, Makari, and Drake.
And with the exception of Kingo, because Kingo's still there were characters like Gilgamesh that I actually one of my favorites, and they didn't focus on, and they did kill off. I actually fell more for the characters that were pushed aside and left. Like Kingo left at one point, didn't even take place in the final battle, and Gilgamesh got killed off. I actually favored them. I did like their comedic tone. I like Gilgamesh. I thought he was funny. Kingo was funny. His valet was hysterical in Karun. But then too, at one point, Karun, like, there's stakes are high. They're getting, attacked by the deviants. They could be killed, and Karun's just standing in the, in a tree, basically filming. And it's just like, all right, well, some of the comedic tone was good, but some of them didn't. But I understand. So I had some issues, and I do have some questions too. Like one of the other questions I have is Druig and his power to be able to control minds, right?
Mm-hmm.
He had this power. He was given this power, obviously, purposely, but he wasn't ever able to use it. Why? What was the point of giving him this power if he wasn't able to interfere and control either the minds of the humans, or even, like, I don't know if he was present, and that's why I'm asking you this question. When Athena was going through her mind weary, can he not possess her to calm her down?
No, that's a sickness. That's not a mental thing. It's kind of like dementia.
Okay.
So it's like it's you can't just let me control your mind and cure it. It's
no, not to cure, but like because she was attacking them. You know what I mean?
No. So the way Chloe made it seem, and again, I obviously haven't talked to her, so I don't know. It's different from the comics, but the way she made it seem was you couldn't really go full bore against each other. There were limits. It's why when you saw Phastos use all the contraptions, it didn't take long for Icarus to just break out of them. I think there's limits to what can affect each other. And it didn't seem like any of them were trying to go full bore on each other. Because Icarus probably could have killed them all if he tried harder.
That's fair. He seemed, and that's the other thing too. Why was he made to be almost like, like basically the Marvel's version of Superman? He had all those powers. Why, if they were made, why do they all have different powers? I guess I'm asking.
Oh God, you don't want them to have the same powers.
No, but aren't they all the same thing?
No. They're the equivalent to what the mutants were.
Okay.
The gene that they have were made to be different. So if they all had the same thing, oh my God, they'd be the Power Rangers. And I don't.
All right. Well, I mean, and also too, the Prime Eternal was Ajax until she passed it on to Cersei.
I thought Eternals all had like the same type of power, but they each focus on different powers. Like,
okay, so yes, you are right, Kitty. So it technically is they each have one source of power, but what it does is it limits it. So so instead of Ajax being able to punch really hard, her focus is all on healing. Right. Icarus is like probably the most different than the others, because it's like, well, it's the punching really hard, it's the super speed and flight, and it's the eye.
I mean, he has everything. He was pretty much OP.
He's which is another reason why I said I appreciated what Chloe Zhao did, because if you notice, the survivors are not the strongest of the Eternals. Now, it depends on where they navigate Cersei's abilities.
Because she's now the Prime Eternal, right?
Right. But Gilgamesh and Icarus dying was very important, because wherever these Eternals appear next, it's very difficult for me to believe that if you have Icarus there, Icarus can just do the shit himself. Like, I don't need Makari. Just have Icarus rip the guy's head off. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
You kind of leave it to where it's like, well, Kingo can do not matter manipulation. Sorry, that's Cersei. He can do energy blast, right? Now, depending on where we see the Eternals again, energy blast might not be the strongest of abilities to defeat something.
His ability was actually, for me, like the most underwhelming. To have finger blasters as energy, I was like, all right, okay, sure.
Well,
it was just a little weird.
Jurig's was 100% the most useless in this movie.
Well, useless, yeah, but also at the same time, like it could have served, but he just wasn't able to use it.
I also didn't like, because Druig in the comics is pretty much their bad guy at any
right.
Game.
Yeah.
So the fact that you made Icarus that was just like, all right, but Druig was literally right there, and he had the motivation too. So I don't know. I thought that was a weird.
To play off of Phastos, what you were saying, Phastos. So another plot was they weren't able to interfere, and I even said, well, so a couple of things on the whole interfering thing, and I just have questions for both of you guys if you want to answer. Mm-hmm. One of them was Phastos. So Phastos, they're not allowed to interfere unless there's deviants. However, Phastos interfered. Well, so did Druig, because he obviously took over the mind and tried to control, because he didn't want to feel guilty of the humans killing each other. But Phastos helped them with technology. He even felt guilty for Hiroshima. He felt guilty for basically showing them the way to get technologically advanced. That's interfering. No?
To be fair, I think they were taking the instructions a little too seriously. I think it was more so just like, all right, there's a civil war happening. Clearly, you should not interfere one way or the other. Mm-hmm. But it was just their purpose to being there was just to deal with the deviants. That wasn't their purpose, was to help out humanity in their wars and their conflicts. Mm-hmm. I think they were taking it more so as like, all right, well, our only purpose here is the deviant. So if it's not deviant related, we don't need to be involved. But I don't think Arishem was ever just like, what? Did you tie that man's shoe? It's not why you're here. You're going off world. You're dying. Like, no. It was just like your purpose is the deviants.
Yeah, I think interfering as in don't like fight their battles, but I think they were just helping humans grow as a society.
Right.
You know what I mean? Like there's just developing slower, and they were just trying to help them develop quicker in society, to help them fight these wars. You know what I mean?
Yeah, but the implications of him being responsible for the H bomb is pretty. That's interfering on the grandest scale, because that's mass. What that was able to do on Hiroshima was mass. Like that was pretty much wiped out
But
a
they
whole
explained
country
that.
almost.
They explained that
A city.
He was saying he thought that was just to help them further themselves.
Yeah.
Got
He
it.
did not know they would use it.
No, I don't think he intentionally knew what that was going to do. I'm not saying that he was like, oh, you know what? I'm going to help America drop a bomb on Japan. No, I'm just saying that he basically he probably interfered, but he interfered unintentional.
Yeah.
Right, and I think that's the difference. That's the difference. But in the comics, it was just the idea of Erisham didn't want them necessarily involved because he wanted to see how far advanced humans can go on their own.
Mm-hmm.
It's like, well, if you do everything, all I know at the end of the day is that you're really good at your job. I don't know anything from them. I need to see them do it. So that was it. But no, I don't think it was ever deliberately like, hey guys, don't do anything but fight deviants or you're in a whole lot of trouble.
And then one other thing that I think I asked you this a couple of times, Juwan, and I'll ask both of you guys just so you can answer. My main thing was too, especially after seeing the film, was Ajax basically gave that whole speech of why they weren't able to, or even Cersei, why basically telling Dane Whitman why they weren't able to. It was Cersei, not Ajax. Why they weren't able to interfere with the snap, why they weren't able to interfere with Thanos. They were only able to touch deviants and whatever. And I even said, well, sort of. Technically, Thanos is a deviant, but let's put that aside for a second. Knowing what we know now and why the Eternals were actually there, and their whole purpose was not to just eradicate the deviants, but was to also maintain order, because the planets need life in order to hatch the dormant celestial that's inside. Now, Thanos' snap actually halted that. And if it wasn't for Iron Man, and now one can argue, well, they already the path or whatever was known that Iron Man was going to snap his finger, or if Hulk was going to snap his finger, and I'm sorry, Hulk was going to snap his finger, and then life was going to come back and whatever. But I don't know if that's actually true. The fact of the matter is, Thanos' snap actually thwarted or halted the life on the planet or life in the universe itself, because it cut it in half. But that also would have stalled, if it hadn't been for the Hulk, would have stalled Tiamat, whatever his name, I think it's Tiamat, his hatching in the Earth. So why didn't they, if that's the case, if Ajax knew what their purpose was, them not going after Thanos made no sense, because he literally cut the population in half, and that's what was needed for the hatch of the Celestial, no?
You want to go first, Kitty, or you want me to go first?
Go ahead.
Okay. So, first of all, Thanos is not a deviant. He just has the gene.
Deviant gene.
Full on deviant.
Right.
So A, that's why they didn't get involved in Thanos. B, I don't think this story is going the route that Thena and Thanos are cousins. So
I thought Thanos was an Eternal, not a deviant.
Yeah, no, he's neither. He's neither. It was just one of those things where when he was born, he had the gene, like a little bit of that gene to make him ugly. Like MCU.
Oh yeah, because you got Harry Styles, his brother, and then you have Thanos' face.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Clearly, there was something different in that.
Yeah.
Family,
Yeah.
But
because Star Fox is like the Lothario. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
So the MCU handled Thanos' background differently in the MCU than in the comics. In the comics, his parents were trying their best to kill him.
Yeah.
Because he was so horrible.
Because of how he looked. Yeah.
Right. I had no one else on the planet looked like that. So they were just like, you gotta kill that thing. I don't know what that is. So clearly they handled it differently in the MCU, because you don't want to really say they were trying to kill children.
No.
But anyway,
Although Rhodey was all for that.
Rhodey was 100%.
He was like, baby Thanos.
Let's kill a couple babies out here. But no, so the timeline for this. So Thanos snaps. That works for Ajax, because Ajax does not want to hurry up and eradicate humanity just to have.
It works for her, yes. But what about Icarus?
I think Icarus, when he found out, it was kind of just something to where it was like, you didn't really know what was going on, right? Because remember, this is relatively quickly. I know it makes it sound like years have passed, right? So years have passed. So then you get Hulk's snap, brings people back. Your Icarus, perfect. We don't even know that Icarus maybe didn't help kind of move things forward, right?
What about
I'm not saying
Arishem though? Because Arishem can summon Ajax, the Prime Eternal, at any time.
Mhm,
We seen in the film.
mhm,
And remember, there were 5 years that passed between the snap and whatever.
mhm.
He didn't at one point just summon her and be like, "Yo, bitch, what did you do?"
He may
Thanos snapped his finger.
He may have, but I think this movie was trying to do its best to kind of very little touch on in game.
Yeah. Well, they also have to
yeah.
retcon a couple things because Eternal wasn't introduced until
Right.
after.
Right.
Yeah, I get it.
So then you get Hulk that snaps that brings everyone back, and then Stark snap, which just eradicates only Thanos.
Yeah, just Thanos and his yeah.
Somehow still keeps Gamora there, but okay. So he snaps and gets rid of them. So I think at that point, if you're Icarus, because remember that was when Ajax had told Icarus like, "Shit, dog, shit's getting real," and he's like, "Well, how long?" It's like 7 days. So they were acknowledging the snap, and it's just like things are going to move very quickly now, because that level of energy has kind of fast forwarded things.
The Hulk snap.
Right, the Hulk snap.
Yeah.
And I think Stark snap didn't make things any better for Ajax. I think it probably helped even make things go about quicker. So it was just the idea of them trying not to make things too dependent on the snap. The snap happened. Like, too much of our story now is about the snap. So I think this movie was trying to navigate it this way, but not totally ignore it.
One other big thing, and pun intended too. You have a celestial hatching from the core of the earth.
Mm-hmm.
You put him in stone, marble, ice, whatever it was that Cersei did. You're going to tell me something hatching from the core of the earth didn't disrupt the planetary structure at all? Like, Earth is fine. You know, you have to, I mean, granted, he's frozen, but he came from the Earth's core.
Mm-hmm.
Like, they didn't think a little far ahead where, like, all right, something of that big big in nature coming from the center of the earth wouldn't. That was actually my main problem with the story, was at the end when it got to the point where he started hatching and he was coming out, and obviously he's protruding from the crust.
Mm-hmm.
It just didn't make any sense where it's like, okay, well, we froze him, everything's okay now.
Well, we don't know. And we have to see how everything plays out, because that wasn't my biggest issue. My biggest issue was a Celestial was being hatched, and Doctor Strange was...
Oh, yeah, dude. You know what?
Or...
Doctor Strange, what about any of them? I
No.
mean, that's a...
I mean, seeing that on TV, I get, but Doctor Strange, you have to be able to sense that. Remember, he sensed Loki was there, just off Loki just landing. He landed, and Strange was like,
dude, you brought up such a great... I didn't even think of that.
He was
that's
like,
a very good point. I mean, that's... If that's not an Avengers level threat, I don't know what is.
I know, but to be fair, Feige did speak on this recently and said, well, if that was the case, every movie I made would have some other Avengers in it, because it is some Earth-level threat that's happening.
Yeah.
And you just can't do that with every movie. You know what I'm saying? So I'm like, I get it, but we got to wait to see Spider-Man to see where this takes place. Like, is Spider-Man literally right before the end of this? During this? Because if it is, Strange is extremely busy. So I understand why he's just like,
Another good point, though, dude, too. If let's, like you said, that's actually a really good point. I'm glad you brought that up, because I was about to say that. Given the events of Spider-Man No Way Home, we don't know, like you said, as far as the timeline goes, where this fits, right? What if this also plays into the theories where Strange isn't really Strange? Maybe the actual Strange isn't available, and the Strange that we see...
Wait, no, we do know when this is. Sorry.
We do know. Okay,
yeah,
I'm glad you brought that up.
It takes place months after the snap. Because remember, Far From Home, the field trip, that was months after the snap, or a few weeks. It was something like that, like a few weeks or something. Because remember, everyone started...
No. I know where No Way Home, I understand where it is, right?
Mm-hmm.
where is the Eternals timeline at? When
Eternal's timeline is within the few weeks of the snap, because the snap had initiated the 7 days, and that's why.
is it before or after the events of No Way Home? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
No. Remember, No Way Home is one continuous loop. Far From Home ends in No Way Home.
Yeah, No Way Home and Far From Home are the same day.
Right. So I think this is probably a few weeks, maybe a week or two after Endgame.
So the
This is
Celestial
probably
didn't.
before.
So the Celestial didn't hatch yet. No Way Home.
No, it might have. It might have.
That's crazy.
It might have.
So maybe either because Doctor Strange was busy in the multiverse.
Mm-hmm.
That's why.
But you also have to remember the Avengers are split.
No, the Avengers. I don't. But you brought up a very good point. Not even the Avengers. Like, put the Avengers on the side.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that Doctor Strange doesn't sense it is a big thing.
We gotta wait to see this movie to know if he does or not. I have
but that's really good point, though. I didn't even think of that. That's not even in my notes. I didn't even think of that.
It froze, right? The Celestial froze.
Yeah.
We've only seen Doctor Strange's.
But even still, you had Wong sense Shang-Chi's event too. You know what I mean?
Right. But I'm saying, remember, this Celestial froze, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then in Doctor Strange, his whole entire house is
Sanctum is frozen. Maybe the two were combined. Yeah, maybe that's where Wong is going to take selfies with the frozen.
No. We know where Wong is going.
I know.
Wong's going to the that temple from the.
Really quick, by the way, I watched a YouTube video a little while back when they do the She-Hulk review. The trailer. They were talking about whatever.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think that's what it is. It looks more like the raft. But somebody said that sort of. That room, the Gamma room, where he's helping out Jessica or Jennifer Walters.
Jennifer Walters.
When he's talking with Jennifer Walters and he's helping her, whatever, that box or that containment unit she's in, when the portal opens in Shang-Chi, and you see Wong and Abomination going through, there is some resemblance between the two. I'm not saying that's where Abomination's going into Hulk's lab. But that also is a possibility as well, besides the raft.
I would say keep in mind also that
because he's going to be in She-Hulk. He's going to be in She-Hulk. That's why I say that.
Right, but also keep in mind we haven't seen all of the raft. Where they kept the Avengers is where you keep Avengers that can't literally just smash their way out of things. Guys like Abomination are probably kept on a different level.
No, you're right. Where they were.
Is more so isolated
because they were almost because Ant-Man without a suit is nothing, right? You're right, and with the exception of Captain America, though.
Well, no, even then, again, Feige changed things in the MCU. Captain America was never strong enough to hold a fucking helicopter in a building at the same time.
Let me ask you this though.
Embellished a little bit.
I bet you don't know this. What part of the raft would they hold Nick Fury if they had to?
I don't know.
The shaft.
I hate you so much.
Wow.
little dad joke there for you. Shaft, right? Shaft.
I understood it.
So look, that was actually like I said, that was actually my biggest problem with the whole Celestial. A couple of YouTubers that I watched when they did the review, they said that besides the whole Disney Plus series to maybe kind of stretch out and give more character development to most of them and give each character the story that maybe it needed to build it up, but maybe even break this film into two, kind of like what Dune is doing. And maybe the sequel having the Celestial come through, that big moment where the Celestial's coming through the earth, and whatever. But I don't know. But that's not to say as far as me not liking this film as much as I wanted to. And I think the big part of that is, and you and I, even when we did the review to the trailer that came out a while back, I remember saying, and I remember Feige saying, he was touting this film being, an Oscar contender, and and Chloe being an Oscar-winning director, for Best Director. I really did have a really high bar set for this film. I thought it was going to be unlike anything we've ever seen, and it was. I'm not disagreeing with you one bit. It definitely was unlike anything I've ever seen. But when it comes down to it, I have a list of 9 things that I wanted to say. I'm not even going to say them. I don't care because it's redundant. I can tell you what I didn't like about the film. I can tell you what I loved about the film. But the point of the matter is, every MCU film I've ever seen, including Thor: Dark World, to be honest with you, I've always wanted to see it again. Always. Whether it was in the movies, where I saw the original Avengers in 2012, I've seen it 4 fucking times in the theater. Avengers Endgame, Infinity War, I couldn't wait to come out. Civil War, Winter Soldier, all these films, I couldn't wait to either own it on Blu-ray or digital, or rewatch it in the theaters. This to me has no rewatchability. I'll watch it when it comes out on Disney Plus because it's a Marvel film. So I will probably watch it again, but I have no desire to go put my ass in the seats in the theater again. And that's my ultimate barometer of how I rate Marvel films, is the rewatchability, is my engagement and my interest in it to go and watch it again. And that's why it didn't hit too hard for me. It's the simplest way to say it. So, but other than that, anything else? I just wanted to really quick.
We didn't go into the end
What do you think as far as future? And that's the other thing I want to say. Whatever I liked about this film doesn't mean I can't wait to see what the future holds. Not only for this franchise, I will see the sequel once it comes out, but also for the characters. I love Angelina Jolie. I can't wait to see what happens to Athena. You know, I love Cersei. I think Cersei's I love Gemma Chan. She's gorgeous. Cersei's one of the characters I actually liked in the film. Dane Whitman's character, you know, we know that it's alluded to with the whole, is it the Necro Sword? What's it called?
Ebony Blade.
No, I think it's the Necro Sword at the end, not the
Isn't
Ebony
it
Blade.
the
What's
Ebony
it?
Blade?
No, it's okay. I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but it's, as far as we're concerned right now, it is the Ebony Blade, but there is a storyline where
it's not the Ebony Blade. We know the Ebony Blade was mentioned, though.
The Ebony Blade.
The Ebony Blade was mentioned.
It's supposed to be the Ebony Blade, but
it's not.
There is
it's
a
haunted.
comic series where Blade and Dane Whitman get together because Blade lets Dane know that his sword is not what he thinks it is.
Yeah.
And it tracks back to like Dracula and some shit like that.
And why else would they have Blade speak to him at the end? They're showing him.
Saying, look, I don't want to go down the rabbit hole, but
let's do it. I got nothing else to do, Joanne.
What I saw was it looked as if the sword was reacting to his touch,
which it did,
symbiotic. And I'm just saying that,
which is what symbiotes do.
It leads us back to Null, who is the creator of the Venom world, of the symbiote world, rather. Sorry.
Yeah. And
we do know Venom ended with blending in the MCU. We also know that we're getting Thor: Love and Thunder with
Gore the Butcher. No, not Gore.
God Butcher, whose sword he stole from Null, which is the Necromancer sword.
Yeah.
So it's very possible that these things could be leading into each other. But it's also possible Feige's doing some kind of weird-ass mix of 2 different storylines, but it's still supposed to be the Ebony Blade.
I will say this. That actually got me really excited. As far as end credits go, I wasn't really crazy about the introduction of Eros, you know, Harry Styles.
I love that. That's going to be huge, by the way. That's going to be huge.
Okay, sure. But I did like the fact, and I even told you this. Do you remember a while back when we were talking about what?
No, I thought the Eros introduction was interesting because that could lead into 3 things. Because we got Moon Knight coming,
right?
She-Hulk, and the Guardians of Galaxy 3. So where's he blending in here?
I have no idea. All I know is he was hitting on his cousin, pretty much. If they're going to go that route, which they never said they weren't.
They're not, because they would have mentioned Thena's closeness to Thanos.
Okay.
Because there's no way that she's his cousin, but not Thanos's, but they're brothers. So
right.
I think that's completely out of the window.
But even still, the whole introduction to what we were talked about when we were watching the trailer, Jawan, and we were talking about Dane, and we said, you know, well, why did they bring Kid Harington into here if they're not going to really suit him up? And I said, I think we're probably going to get an end credit scene, or something is going to happen where it's just an introduction here, and he's never going to ever suit up. We're not going to see Black Knight, and it's exactly what happened, and I'm fine with it. But even still, it wasn't even, like I said, the fact that it wasn't the Ebony Blade. I don't think it was. I do like the fact that it was mentioned, though. I think, was it Sprite that mentioned it?
Mm-hmm.
Right, Sprite's the one that mentions the Ebony Blade. But I like the fact that
no, Thena does, because
Thena.
someone
Okay, it was
someone
Thena.
said something about it. They called it Excalibur.
Right? No,
And
no. I think Sprite says Ebony Blade, and Thena corrects her and says Excalibur. I think something like that, or it could be reversed. But I remember the scene you were talking about because she said that what's his face had a thing for her, right? Who wields the Excalibur?
Shit. Yeah. Fuck. Shit.
Merlin.
Yes. Yes.
Okay.
Merlin.
So I do like the fact that we were told by the director herself that was in fact Blade speaking to Dane Whitman.
Mhm.
And also too earlier in the film, his family crest was with the ring was mentioned as well.
Mhm.
So they were building it up, and I do like the fact that there are ties between Blade, Morbius, and because remember Morbius is coming out as well, and in fact Black Knight. So that's why I think this was a crucial scene, and this is the one I liked more because I think like I'm hoping it plays out with maybe even Morbius as well. Because I was even telling Juwan when the Morbius trailer came out, I was more excited about that than I was Let There Be Carnage. I didn't even see Let There Be Carnage yet. To
I
be
just
honest with you.
watched Let There Be Carnage.
Oh, because it's
Like-
out on home. It's out on home release. Yeah, I know. I saw that, but I'm not ready. I don't know if I'm ready to pay $20 for that. But yeah, so I was excited about that. I am excited about the future. Don't get me wrong. I'm excited if Eternals 2 come out. Well, guess what? I'm gonna go see it. And the characters show up in another MCU film or project. I'm gonna go see it. I don't care.
I just hope that the first end credit scene leads us to the High Evolutionary. It leads us to a massive galactic court,
Mhm.
where it's Cersei, Star Fox, and maybe another Celestial defending, defending why Earth should still be
Oh, Celestial or Eternal?
no, it's a Celestial.
Okay.
Because I don't think all of them agree with.
How many? I know. So each planet has Eternals, right? Now, what I hated because I tried doing research before we came on, right? And I wanted to know if it was ever stated what the other two Eternals she wanted to use. They were never named, but like I said, it was originally 12 she wanted to deal with, but unfortunately, she never names the other two.
Mhm.
What other two could it have been?
Oh, literally anyone. I think there's like six or seven more.
Jesus.
Yeah, there's a whole bunch of them.
Well, she didn't even use most of the first generation Eternals.
Right. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah. There's a bunch of them. There's a bunch she could have used. She obviously picked out the most mainstream and popular.
Got it.
But there's a bunch others. But there are none bigger than Icarus, which is why I was like, you killed Icarus?
So is Eros a prime Eternal?
No.
I thought anybody that holds that spear.
You mean within the MCU?
Yeah.
Oh, yes. In the comics, he is none of that.
No. I'm just talking about in the MCU itself because the end credit scene shows him wielding that the golden ball, his balls.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Yeah. Which is it's funny you say balls.
Which goes into the neck.
He's super pervy in the comics.
So.
He's very flirty.
Very problematic in the
comics. Because Eros is the god of love, right?
He was the god of a whole bunch of stuff in the comic books. Love was.
And I did know about Pip. I was very aware of Pip before whatever. So it was funny. That was fun to see Pip on the live screen. I'm not going to lie. And I think it was
casting, by the way.
He was voiced by Patton, right? Patton Oswalt.
Patton Oswalt. Yeah.
Yep. Which is funny because everyone thought Pip the Troll is who we were getting in Infinity War.
Yeah.
They decided
it was what's his face. Why do I always forget that guy's name?
Because it's very easy to forget. I forgot it too.
But we're talking about the
from Game of Thrones.
Oh,
but they didn't make him Pip the Troll because
I was going to say Elf.
Oh, I know you're talking about.
But I do believe making him Pip the Troll would have been too on the nose.
Yeah. No, but that would have been great.
It would not have been.
But I was thinking not his real name. What was his name in Infinity War?
Oh God, I don't remember.
The one who did Thor's.
The one that made the sword for him. I mean, the hammer or whatever it was.
Yeah. Yes. Yeah, I don't remember his name.
Feces? Not Feces.
God, please stop trying to think of Feces.
Yeah. Yes.
But yeah, no, it would have been problematic to make him Pip the Troll.
Yeah, well, especially because plus he was already a character. Right. But if you did his voice and you just kept the CGI, that wouldn't have been bad. But I didn't mind Patton Oswalt.
I just think
hearing Patton Oswalt's voice in Pip the Troll was awesome.
Yeah, no, it was great.
Like I said, perfect casting.
And he's always drunk? Is that how his character is? Always drunk?
Pip the Troll? No.
Yeah.
No.
He was drunk.
No, but I'm saying no. His character's not always drunk.
Oh, okay. That would have been funny. That would have been a great gimmick.
Yeah.
That would have been borderline Leprechaun.
And it's funny because Pip the Troll was very big in the Infinity Saga, like the Infinity Wars in the comics. He was huge in that whole storyline.
Well, so was Adam Warlock.
Kind of just moving the goalpost. Well, yes, but also that would have been very problematic to add Adam Warlock to Infinity.
Really quick, I do wanna on screen, Kitty. What do you think of that Adam Warlock casting? What do you think, Kitty? Come on, say it.
I can't.
I will say this though, and that's why I sent you some updated GIFs or whatever it was, pictures. I will say the Will Poulter that we got in Where the Millers and what he looks like now is significantly different.
He's jacked.
But I still cannot.
It's still Boner
I still
Garage
can't.
to me.
He's still Where the Millers to me. It's just so weird. But you know what? Well, you know why though, Juwan? Because Adam Warlock, especially when you watch Guardians of the Galaxy 2, right? And who's the one that plays the gold girl? I'm horrible with names.
Like her actual name?
I think it's her, right? Is it her or she?
No, it's definitely way more.
Well, because the only reason why I said that because Adam Warlock was him.
Well,
right?
No. Well, it was kind of playing off the whole Adam and Eve thing.
Right. What's her name? Her name's Eve?
No.
Oh.
God, no. No, it's like it's something way more complicated.
But she makes it out as if he's going to be the perfect specimen.
Because he is.
But Will Poulter's not.
We don't know that though. Like
we do know that.
Because I can tell you this. I don't know if many people remember this, but Brad Pitt was on the short list of being Star-Lord. And then when I heard they were going to make Chris fucking Pratt Star-Lord,
I understand what you're saying. Well, because you know him from what do you call it?
I didn't know Chris Pratt at
Parks
all.
and Recreation.
Parks and Rec, yeah. And
I didn't know him at all. So when I then found out who he was, I even then said, hell no. They even had to push the movie back for him.
I'm really. It sucks though because I'm telling you right now, I'm glad Brad Pitt wasn't picked.
Oh my God,
I can't picture Brad.
But that's my point. That's my point. We now love Chris Pratt in his role as Star-Lord.
Yeah,
Will Poulter could easily be the same exact thing.
All right, you know what? I'll give you that. You never know. And look, sometimes too. Remember, you don't know what makeup is going to be used. Whatever. Not CGI, but you know how they do the what do you call it?
Prosthetics.
No, not even the prosthetics. It is CGI, but they have the dots.
Oh no, there's nothing.
Kind of alter.
I will hate that. There's nothing about Adam Warlock that should have any.
I thought Adam Warlock wasn't really like a human. He didn't have like a human face. It was more alien. No.
No, he always had a human face. He looked gorgeous.
Just gold.
And he's just supposed to be like a perfect man.
But he's gold.
Yeah.
Yeah, but you don't need CGI for that. Again, that's Drax is painted green.
Yeah. Well, so was the girl in Guardians. She was painted gold.
Right.
Yeah,
right.
I guess.
So to me, there's nothing about Adam Warlock that should ever be CGI. I will be highly upset if anything about that man is CGI. But yeah, the only thing that I could look at Will Poulter and then Adam Warlock and go, I don't know, is the idea that Adam Warlock is supposed to be this ultimately gorgeous human, not human.
I could have seen Harry Styles as Adam Warlock.
You know what? I'm with you on that. Harry Styles maybe, and then maybe Will Poulter Eros.
Yeah, I could have saw that swap.
I'm gonna call Marvel. I'm gonna see what they can do.
Make that call.
Guys, come on, change the.
Especially with how jacked he got for Arrows.
Mm-hmm.
A character that doesn't need to be that fucking jacked.
Speaking of getting jacked for a role, all right, let's talk about that really quick because then we're gonna move on because then we gotta do our Hawkeye spoiler review. But Kingo, the character, the actor, please say it because I don't know.
What?
The guy who played Kingo.
Oh, come on, Ninjani.
Okay, got jacked for this role. You don't even give him a shirtless scene?
Were you looking for one?
Well, if you're gonna put the time and effort in getting jacked, come on, let's go.
Well, to be fair, if you're telling me that he's only shooting lasers out of his fingers,
I know you were just bitching that he shoots lasers out of his fingers.
Yeah, but guess what? You shoot lasers. He was fighting with deviants, whatever. A shirt couldn't rip. Come on.
No, because that's not a shirt. Remember that suit forms like it forms around.
I know.
Yeah,
I'm
there's no way
teasing,
to,
but he did really get jacked for this
yeah,
for that role.
super jacked for that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
did.
congrats on him because that's a healthier lifestyle now.
Yeah, definitely. Do you think we see his valet moving forward, Karun?
I tell you what, there's nothing I want more than Deadpool 3 to have Wade, the camera guy, and Luis, and they're just going on.
Wait a minute, that's right. But hold on a sec, though. Isn't Kingo in Deadpool?
What?
Isn't that the cat? Wait, no, hold on. I don't want to.
Yeah, backtrack that. Let's move on.
Let's.
No.
You want to go
Don't
Hawkeye?
you dare, Joe. Don't you dare. Same.
Whoa. For a split
All
second,
right.
I don't know why.
All right, guys.
All right, so if you had to rate the film out of 10, what do you said 8.5, and what did you say, Kitty?
8.5.
And Juwan, 8.5, same thing?
Yeah.
Oh, wow. On the head. It's
Yep.
meant to be. All right, and I'm doing what did I say? 6 or 6.5?
It was disrespectfully low. That's all I remember.
Disrespectfully low.
Yeah,
That's
you
not-
disrespected.
I could have said a 4. That would have been disrespectfully low because that's where the fucking no, not even. Yeah, no, probably around the 4. That's around where Rotten Tomatoes is, which I don't agree. I'll do.
Are you sure the audience score is that low?
Yeah, it's 80. I checked before we came on because I wanted to see. The only reason why I know it's 80 because I wanted to see what the Thor: Dark World.
Wow,
was.
the critic score dropped.
Yeah,
severely.
it went low. It's in the 40s now.
Wow.
I would like to know who these critics are because
So would I, Juwan. So would I.
every weak-minded critic that I know raved about this movie.
But like I said, and
Some
granted,
old white
Thor:
dude.
Dark World has over 200,000 reviews.
Mhm.
Eternals doesn't have that yet, but 75% of the audience love Thor: Dark World. Where? Who? So,
I'm going to be honest with you. I'm one of them. Not a lot of people despise that movie like the world likes to make other people think.
I'm not saying I despise it because even Thor: Dark World I'll rewatch. Not my problem, but when you look at it in a whole in all 23 films or whatever it is now, that's my least liked. It's not just
Thor: The Dark World only failed because its final act was just such a fucking snooze fest.
Yeah.
The first act, the second act.
I love that movie
third
until you actually get to see the elf and it's just like, you're fighting this guy? This is horrible.
I think my favorite, I will say this, my favorite part, oh my God. I am so bad. I also haven't seen Deadpool in a while. I'm so sorry.
Just move past it, Joe.
So sorry.
Don't go back. Move past
my favorite part of Thor: Dark World were the credits.
I'm right there with you.
I loved when it ended. No, it was so great. You know when it tells you like who composed the music and the score and the songs in the movie? That was the best. I loved it. But no animals were hurt during the filming of this film.
We don't
Guys, I do want to like I said, I want to thank you not only for coming on, but I do want to wish you a happy belated Thanksgiving to you and our audience. And guys, obviously we're live now, but we are about to sign off and we're going to do our Hawkeye spoiler review for episodes 1 and 2. So by the time you watch this, that'll be up on my channel. Joanna, anything you want to plug for your channel?
Nope, not as of yet.
Holidays? Well, no, dude, what are you talking about? You just dropped your Hawkeye spoiler review on yours.
I did. I'm sorry. Yes, we just did a Hawkeye Marvel Cinematic review. We came back and did a review on the first 2 episodes of Hawkeye. And also Tia has an interview with Doug Maroney.
Dermot
Maroney.
Maroney. Yeah. No, remember, I couldn't remember the first name.
Yeah.
And because
Dermot, did you just disrespect Dermot?
I love Dermot Maroney.
I love Dermot.
I was telling Juwan, my best friend's wedding. Come on.
I mean,
Dermot.
He's who obviously should have been Adam Warlock. But no, so Tia just interviewed him, and I interviewed Alan Maldonado, who was in Psych 3 and Heels. So yeah, that's pretty much it.
When are you going to interview is it Drew Hill?
Oh, Dule Hill. Dule Hill shafted me, so I'm waiting to see if I
can.
Nick Fury'd you?
Just let me spoon. Just be like,
I'm gonna bring you on. He's like, is there any reason why she's just staring at me? She likes you, man. I don't know.
Yo, what's up, Jay?
Girl.
Jay, we're about to wrap up. We were talking about Eternals, but what's up? Thank you for popping on. I appreciate it.
No, but I will let you know because I am in with his agent, so we're just trying to figure out when he gets a free second. So I'll keep you up to date with that.
Awesome. I'll just be like,
how funny that is. Like he's just like, is there just any reason why she's not talking?
just not talking.
Wait, I think Kitty's frozen. No,
No,
I'm just staring at you.
no, I'm just staring at you, and I plan to continue till this is over. Yeah.
All right, and Kitty, what's going on with your OnlyFans account?
I suspended it for a little while. Yeah.
I was hoping to get some holiday photos.
It's just pictures of Dule Hill in her OnlyFans.
No, I was picturing some holiday photos, some lewd photos of her and a turkey or something like that.
I mean a turkey.
Some turkey thighs.
Based in the turkey.
the baster. That's what they call it. It's a turkey baster, sure. Jay, I appreciate that, dude. Yeah. He'll rewatch this tomorrow at work. I appreciate it. Happy belated Thanksgiving. All right, so guys, we're gonna wrap up here. We're a couple of minutes late. Like I said, I'm gonna hang up like it's a fucking phone call. We're gonna end here, and then I'm gonna send you guys a link, and we'll do our Hawkeye review. But again, thank you for coming on. I appreciate it, guys. Smash the like button, subscribe if you haven't already, and of course, Jawan's link to his YouTube channel is in the description. So please click that and go visit that. And once Kitty has her OnlyFans up and working, I will truly, because I know you like your Trulies, send what do you call it? Attach a link to that. But guys, hang tight. I'm about to send you a link.
Wait for it for a very long time.
Enjoy your weekend.